are now listening to the Dad Rules Podcast with your hosts, Mario E. and Kid.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Dad Rules Podcast, where we help you dad better. I'm your host, Mario E. and Kid. What's going on?
Not much. Let's get to the topic.
All right. So today we're talking about don't worry, be happy. I know most everybody's probably heard of that saying. You probably heard of the song before, but today we're talking about not worrying about things and just letting those stressful things go. Kid, you want to start us off?
Yeah. I guess as fathers, I think we're always faced with stressful situations. I think that's something that we can't necessarily get away from. I do feel like stressful situations it's only important as to how you handle it. Because how you handle those stressful situations is going to make the difference in every situation that you face with. I mean, you can decide to handle it in the worst way. You can handle it negatively. You can handle it positively. It's all about how you handle it, how you look at those situations. And when I think about happiness, first thing I have to do is I have to make sure that I'm happy with myself. Because nobody that you meet is going to be able to fix that. They're not going to be able to fix you. No matter how good a person is, you still have to do the work to yourself first, or you're going to drain every positive bone or gene that they have in them if you're negative all the time.
Right.
Now, that's not easy. You know, finding that happiness within yourself. I think as we get older, we get more comfortable in our skin. I think you should. And be happy with who you are. Be able to look yourself in the mirror. Those type of things are important. But in the long run, you need to have happiness within yourself, whether that comes from you just being happy for who you are and who you turned out to be and your morals and principles that you have in your life, you know, that can help. Just being an all-around good person, that can help. But like for me, it's my faith is where I get that happiness from on the inside. And before you know it, your outside starts to change.
Yeah.
When people see you, they can tell that something's different about you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
definitely making sure that you fix the inner person first. And then, you know, the things that make me happy is being around my family. You know what I'm saying? Making sure my family is straight. If they good, then that makes the father good. I think we all can attest or agree to that. And a lot of times it gets misconstrued that money brings about happiness. And, you know, that's not true. I'll be the first one to say that I feel like money may not bring happiness, but it might make life easier. But it certainly doesn't bring happiness. So, you know, before you get those riches or before you become a millionaire or a billionaire or whatever, you need to make sure that you're happy with yourself first, because all those things that you get after that, they're not going to make you happy.
Yeah.
So, and then speaking towards like worrying about so much stuff, you know, I try not to be a big worrier, but it creeps up on all of us. And if we really think about it, the things that we worry about, how often do they come to pass? And they don't often come to pass. So why should I spend my energy on things that are not going to come to pass and things that are just going to get my mood down or get you just out of out of touch with who you are and who you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's pretty much, my thoughts on that. I mean, like, it's like money is something that is essential, but it's not going to bring happiness. And like, it's so many things that can just get us out of having a happy life. And a lot of people, it's their jobs. And some people, they say, well, working is more than just a job. Yes, but a job can be a dream killer,
That's right.
So
So true. So true.
I say have faith in making yourself be happy and go forth with whatever visions you have and just go from there.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. So let me just ask you a quick question. I wanted you to kind of expound on something real quick. You said one of the things that brings you happiness, you said, is being around your family, right? Yeah. And then you also talked about, but it's how you handle certain things, that you kind of led off with that. So just, I know this may be kind of all script here. What would you say to a father who has those stresses at home where his family is causing him stress, whereas for you, being around your family makes you happy, but maybe that father's having those stressors at home? What would you say to him if he can't go to his family, quote unquote, to be happy at that moment? What kind of advice would you give to that dad?
Well, we've talked about it in other episodes where you got to have me time. Now, like right now, my son is pretty much having a fit, and when he's having a fit, no, that's not going to be a good time that we just enjoy each other. It's not.
Yeah.
I have to sit there and help him get through his tantrum or his little fit that he's having or whatever. But you got to take care of yourself. You got to make sure that your mind is in the right place, because if your mind is not in the right place, you're not going to handle that situation with your child the right way. You're not going to handle that situation with your wife the right way.
That's
your wife might say something to you, and then if you're in a bad place, then you say something, and then it's something really bigger than what it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with your kid. Your kid can be upset. And even if you're upset, sometimes you got to be the bigger person and just say, you know what? I'm not going to do this right now. I'm just going to let it go.
Yeah.
But the main thing is having that me time, whatever you like to do. If it's fishing, if it's bowling, if it's playing basketball, if it's reading, if it's listening to music, if it's working out, whatever it is, you need to find it. Like, you don't need to go through life and not have anything that you can enjoy in solitude.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that you said that.
Yeah,
you got to have some type of outlet to get that stress off, what you're saying, right?
Yeah. And then once you do that, you're in a better place and you're able to come back and handle those situations in the home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know me, man, if I'm frustrated, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good, because I wouldn't say I'm a radical person, but the way my temper is, it's just really quick. I can hold myself under for a long time. I can take a lot of stuff. Somebody can say something to me and I can just kind of be like, whatever, man. But a constant over and over and over again and basically burying those feelings. And me and my brother are like, we like this together. We'll take a whole lot of stuff and then one day it's just. So I try to not let those frustrations get bottled up. I try and talk about those things as they happen.
Yeah.
That way situations don't build up. And I think that's very important in relationships. You need to put things on the table, talk about it as it comes up.
Mm-hmm.
That's way it's real light, so you don't have a whole laundry list of issues that you have with your partner.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
same
You
thing
got to
with
be able to
your
have that
kids.
you got to have that open communication all the time, so that you know when those stresses do happen, like you said, it's not like it's getting bottled up, and then all of a sudden one day you explode.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what in the world? You know, you don't.
Yeah, where that
Yeah.
come from? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cause like, I mean, me and you talked before the show, and like right now, I got a lot on my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's hard to function properly because I'm the kind of person I don't know how to really put on a front.
Yeah.
So if I'm upset, if I got too much ahead of me or too much on my mind or too much on my to-do list, it just ain't clear, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but as a dad, I can't sit in the corner and have a pity party about it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go forward.
Yeah. What are you teaching your son, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just now, I had to go up there before we started and just talk to him. I didn't want to just talk to him though. Man, that's just some real dad stuff, man. Like,
Yeah, absolutely, man.
that's not what
Absolutely.
I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to give him a little old school, but I
Yeah.
didn't. You know, I just talked to him. I just talked to him and just said, you know, this is what dad is doing. I need you to do this. I need you to close your mouth. I need you to chill out.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I mean, he responded to it well. Well, we've talked about that, you know, all that yelling and stuff, man, don't help nothing.
Nah. Kids respond differently to different things. So yeah, for sure. Yeah. So here's what I got to say about, you know, our topic today. You know, don't worry, be happy. You know, a wise man once said to me, worry is sometimes, you know, fear of something that hasn't happened yet, right? You're worried about something that has not even happened yet. And how many times has that happened to people where you're worried about money, or you're worried about, you know, your kids, or you're worried about this, or you're worried about that, you know? And all those times and when you worry, you know, it makes you more and more anxious, and it builds up anxiety. And, you know, doctors say, you know, that a major cause of medical problems for people can be like emotional issues, right?
Yeah.
And how many times have you heard about people, you know, maybe someone is so worried about, you know, getting cancer, or they're so worried about their kids that all of a sudden you hear about, man, they had a heart attack or something.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, worrying does you no good.
Yeah.
It does you no good. It does you no good to sit around and worry. It really doesn't. I mean, I know we all have done it from time to time, and, you know, some do it more than others, but I'm telling you, man, worrying and complaining gets you nowhere. It doesn't, you know. And I heard it said like this before too. There are 2 days that you should never spend a lot of time thinking about. 2 days. That's yesterday and tomorrow. You know, don't spend all your time thinking about yesterday, you know, because yesterday's gone. You know, we can have so many things that we may worry about from yesterday that, you know, and this has happened to me before, where like I know I'm kind of introspective sometime and a deep thinker, maybe sometimes too deep of a thinker, but there have been times where I've replayed conversations in my mind and I'll be like, man, I shouldn't have said that. And I'll think about it. And you find yourself beating yourself up, or you may think about something you did last week or back in your distant past or whatever that, you know, that was shameful. And you're like, man, you know, and you sometimes, man, those things happen, and you got to catch yourself, and you got to say, you know what? You know, I'm past that. I'm not even worrying about that. I'm not that person anymore. I wouldn't say that now. Right. And you can't dwell on those things. And then two, you know, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with planning for the future. There's nothing wrong with, you know, wanting things, you know, in the future, and, you know, like I said, planning for it and getting your ducks in a row and all those different things. But if you spend all your time in the future, you're worrying about what's going to happen next, to where, you know, you may, you know, worry yourself to death, as people say, you know, and
Yeah.
that's not good either, you know. So those are definitely things that you have to make sure you do. I know you also mentioned your faith. And, you know, I can definitely attest to that as well. You know, there's plenty of scriptures that tell us, you know, not to worry. You know, we're not designed to worry about things, right?
Mhm.
I'm not here, you know, for me, you know, for me, I say it like this: I'm not designed. I can't worry about all these different things, right?
Yeah.
And I'm here to say that, you know, God will give you a peace that surpasses all understanding. There's plenty of times I just pray for peace of mind. I pray for joy. And, you know, to me, those things are a choice. You choose whether or not, if you're going to have peace in a situation. You choose whether or not, if you're going to have joy in a situation. That doesn't mean that, you know, things that get you upset are not going to come. They're going to come, right? But you have to make that choice that, okay, that happened. I'm just move on. I'm gonna keep on going. I'm not gonna dwell on it, because if I dwell on it, it's gonna get me more and more upset. If I dwell on it, you know, I'm gonna get more and more sad, or I'm gonna get more and more furious. Nope. I just need to have some peace. And, you know, a lot of times we don't do that. And I know we using the term here today. We're saying, don't worry, be happy. Here's the way I look at it. Happiness is temporary. Okay. Happiness is a fleeting emotion. You know, I can be happy right now, and then I can turn around and be sad the next moment, or upset the next moment, whatever have you. Right. But things like peace and joy, they're eternal. They last. You
Mhm.
know, you truly got peace, you truly got joy. You know, you may get upset about something, but you're not worrying about it. You know what I mean? So those are some things that I think about when I think about just the title of today's episode. Don't worry, be happy.
Yeah. And we had, Jonah starting swimming lessons or whatever. So we were at a swimming lesson a little bit earlier today. And it's funny because like that worrying is so closely related to fear and being afraid that I never really worried about it like that. I never really thought about it like that. So like with him, I mean, he's 4 years old. This is him really his first swim class, really learning how to swim. And they're letting him swim around with the noodle. And we always just put a life jacket on. So that's kind of like a stretch already, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she would throw the toy, she threw the toy, let him go get it. And like she kind of stood a distance away from him. Like to the point if he got off the noodle, whatever, you're probably gonna have to like swim over there to get him. You can't like just run through the water. It was that much distance between them. And then I started thinking about it. And I was like, okay, are you worried that he's gonna fall and hurt himself? You worried that his head is gonna go under the water and he's gonna have a fear of swimming and we have to go through all of that. And then I said, well, worrying really stalls your progression. Because if you let that worrying take over and that fear take over, then I would have ran out there and said, no, 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 he got to come. Come on, you got to go back over here.
Yeah.
But that helped develop his independence today. That helped develop his confidence today. And actually, he was able to become a better swimmer today in that instance. Because just like I saw the distance between him and his instructor, he saw the distance between him and his instructor. So
Right.
he was able to progress because he wasn't worried. And me as the parent, I didn't let that worrying turn into fear. And then once you fear, you start acting on things. you know. So just
Mhm.
that little small piece today was a time that I could have worried, worrying just kind of peeks its head out a little bit. And then you have to check yourself and say, no, 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 no. Everything's gonna be okay. Let him do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
And you know, some dads are more protective than others. I think all of our role and everything that we want to do as fathers, it is protect.
Hmm.
But in
Especially
those,
about daughters.
yeah,
Especially about daughters. A lot of fathers are very, very protective of their daughters, and they worry about uh, who their daughters will become and who their daughter is going to date, and making sure that the guy is the right type of guy and a guy maybe not quite like how they used to be and all those different things. And yeah, a lot of dads, do that. But yeah.
yeah. And like with that, it's no need of worrying because she's gonna pick who she's gonna pick,
Yeah.
and there's really nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if she picks somebody that you don't like or you don't care about or whatever, you can say, I don't approve of this. And then, I mean, what you gonna do when they 21 years old and they out your house, or 25 years old and they out your house and they pick somebody that you don't approve of? They still gonna do what they want to do.
That's right.
So you might as well go ahead and just get yourself used to it now that they're gonna be their own person, and let them make the decisions that they make. You can advise,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're too far into, I don't want you to be with that person. If you be with that person, then I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna cut you off and all this stuff. See, that's messing up your relationship.
Yeah.
You know, but those are things that we should be concerned about. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We should be concerned with who our sons and daughters choose to have in their circle.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But that's why I use the keyword concerned. We shouldn't be worried.
Yeah. Yeah. At a
Because
certain point, you raise them and you teach them the right things, and if you're a listener to Dad Rules podcast, you can definitely take some of the things that we've said, and maybe you have taken a lot of the things that we've said, and you're already aligned with us, but it gets to a certain point where they're grown.
yep.
You just have to rely and be confident that that you train them the right way, and they're going to revert to their training, and they're going to use all the keys and the tools that you gave them, that they're going to make the right decisions, that you can't worry about it to that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's and it's something else too, right? And talking about don't worry, be happy, it's a 2-word phrase or question, or that can just be the downfall to so many people, especially in this space. But those 2 words are what if. You can what if yourself to the point where, I mean, you
Never accomplish anything.
no offense, but you going ball, you got, you looking half crazy, because you just like, what in the world, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if it doesn't happen?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So stay away from the what if scenarios. Sometimes it can be good, if you're thinking positive, but man, if you're thinking about the negative all the time, as far as a what if scenario, that can be bad for you, bad for your health. Like I said, man, so many health problems are caused by just stressing over things and worrying about
You
things.
paralyze yourself from accomplishing so many goals when you always look at the negative.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have that confidence that whatever I put my mind to, I can do it. And yes, there's gonna be some hardships, but I can make it happen. I can do this.
Yeah.
I guess my question, something that I want us to kind of expand on, would be how important is your happiness in regards to, or versus, I guess the best situation for your family, your personal happiness and then what's best for your family. Because I've seen that happen a lot in families where somebody will say, I just need my happiness. But it might not have been the best thing for the family.
Mm.
And I think sometimes too often do people just say, I'm just going to live my life and just solely just be happy in all the decisions that I make. I don't know how you feel about that, but with me, it's like, I can't make the decisions for me to be happy all the time because that's not always the right thing to do. To me, that's kind of very close to doing things that are pleasurable to you. Everything that feels good is not good.
Mm-hmm.
So is happiness always the right decision?
You asking me that?
I mean, we discussing that.
Okay. Okay. So the way I look at it, right? Like I said before, to me, happiness is temporary. That's the way I look at it. Are there some decisions that, I might need to make for the family, or I'm discussing it with my wife, and maybe it's something that I really want to do, but maybe it's best for our family to do a different way. And some people may call it, I'm sacrificing my happiness for theirs and all these different things, but I don't really look at it like that, because, as a father, as a husband, what I'm trying to do is, protect my family, keep us safe, create memories for us. And so if it means that, I might have to temporarily be unhappy, because if happiness is temporary, unhappiness is temporary. So if I have to be temporarily unhappy or uncomfortable, I don't see any problem with that. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's just one of those things that it just happens. And, I also think about it, man, it's like sometimes when we get attached to these temporary things, then we wonder why our happiness never lasts. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's not always about my happiness. Like, I got to be happy, so I got to make this decision for me to be happy.
People say it all the time.
And people say it, yeah, and it becomes trendy. It becomes popular. We talked on the other podcast.
What makes you happy?
Yeah, we talked about on another podcast. People like to talk. Nowadays, my truth, or I got to live my truth and this truth, but is one truth, the truth. And it's just like my happiness and my this. I mean, all that, to me, that you getting into something else, man, and you getting into self. As a father, I might want my daughter to become, a world-renowned surgeon, right? Yeah. But she may want to make baskets for a living.
Yeah.
If that's what, I'm kind of using words that I didn't necessarily want to use, but if that's the best decision for her, my happiness for her to be a surgeon, I mean, come on, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do that. You can't, try to, control someone else and it's all about your happiness all the time. It's like I said, as a father, as a husband, there are plenty of times I've made decisions where, I have to temporarily be uncomfortable or temporarily unhappy, so to speak, so that my family is good. And to me, that's maturity. That's what being a father is sometimes. And that's what being a husband is sometimes, doing what's best for the group, for your entire unit, not just for you.
Yeah. Cause I mean, happiness to somebody could be, I don't want this responsibility with these 3 kids no more. Right. I don't want to be tied down and have to check in with my wife anymore. So I'm just gonna let y'all stay over here. I'm gonna stay married, and I'm still gonna be y'all dad, but I'm gonna move to the Bahamas and I'm just gonna live there because that's what makes me happy. and y'all just stay here. You know,
That's called running from responsibility.
I know that's exaggerated, or maybe not. But that's the dangers that I see with always making decisions on what makes you happy and always making decisions on what feels good.
Yeah. Isn't that selfish to you?
I feel like it's selfish, but like I said, the trendy thing has been for years that do what makes you happy, whatever floats your boat. And it's not really good. And in the long run, you made a good point. A lot of times it doesn't really make people happy. They go do what they want to do right now, and then they find out that joy is not there and peace is not there.
Right.
But they were happy there temporarily. That's good.
Yeah. Yep.
That's an interesting way to look at it. So, you got anything else on the topic?
I don't, bro.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, we thank you guys for listening to the Dad Roost podcast. And Mario E and Kid, we're signing out.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Dad Rules podcast with your host, Mario E and Kid. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, follow and like us on Facebook and Instagram. You can find our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Breaker, and Player FM. Till next time.